So, 2 Samuel chapter 4. Hopefully you guys read through that chapter last week. And I want you to stop just a minute and narrate to yourself or whoever is sitting beside you or your parent exactly what happened last week. And tell them how this section, what David said to the men that brought back news of them killing Ishbosheth, one of Saul's sons, how this is in complete accord with the character of David, as we've seen in the last few chapters of 2 Samuel. So pause and tell somebody, and then turn the video back on, and we will continue. So we are going to start in 2 Samuel chapter 5. And in 2 Samuel chapter 5, it's when David is finally anointed king of Israel, and all the tribes come out and celebrate. And other kings, like the king of Tyre, sends gifts to David. And I want you to try to remember how long it's been since David has been king, but I guess not officially king, since Saul's death. So hopefully you can think about that. It's been about 3 to 6 years. And I'm sure one of you is going to correct me because all of a sudden my mind went blank. And that's okay. Hopefully you know the answer better. So I want you to look at your map, if you have your map handy. Hopefully you printed it out of... trying to find it. I guess it's over here. So your map of Israel, and let's look for the two places that David's been. Sorry, I'm trying to get a map out. So hopefully you have a map that looks like this that you printed out, and I want you to first find Jerusalem on your map, because that's where we're going to be talking. And Jerusalem, of course, is the capital of Israel. Now David has not been in Jerusalem this whole time. First he was in Ziklag, and then he went over to Hebron. So I want you to see how far Hebron is from Jerusalem on your map. Okay. Let's begin. I'm going to read a little bit, and then I want to pause and let you narrate. Okay. So chapter 5. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, "Behold, we are your bone and flesh. In times past, when Saul was king over us, it was you who led out and brought in Israel. And the Lord said to you, you shall be shepherd of my people, Israel, and you shall be prince over Israel." So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron, and King David made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king of Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. At Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And at Jerusalem, he reigned over all Israel and Judah 33 years. So you'll see there where you can correct me, and we'll both be on the right page. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, who said to David, "You will not come in here, but the blind and the lame will ward you off," thinking, "David cannot come in here." Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, that is, the city of David. And David said on that day, "Whoever would strike the Jebusites, let him get up the water shaft to attack the lame and the blind who are hated by David's soul." Therefore it is said, "The lame and the blind shall not come into the house." And David lived in the stronghold and called it the city of David. And David built the city all around from the Milo inward. And David became greater and greater, for the Lord, the God of hosts, was with him. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messages to David, and cedar trees, also carpenters and masons who built David a house. And David knew that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for the sake of his people Israel. And David took more concubines and wives from Jerusalem after he came from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were born to David. And these are the names of those who were born to him in Jerusalem: Shemua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhiah, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. There we go. So I want you to pause the video again, and I want you to narrate to somebody what we just read. Okay, if you are back, there's really nothing that we should point out here. It's just that David was anointed king. And it does say that all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, "We are with you." And so I think that's important to know, that God brought all of the people together in unity to anoint David as king, that there was no division left in there. So look again on your map, just kind of get an idea of where Jerusalem is in relation to the Dead Sea, in relation to towns such as Bethel, or the area of Samaria, Gaza, the king of Tyre. You'll see where that is on your map. And remember that it is not a very big nation. Remember we kind of measured it out, and you could really walk it in a few hours or even a day. So next week we will read from 2 Samuel chapter 5, and we'll start in verse 17 and read to the end, and possibly get into chapter 6. I'm not sure about that yet, but anyway.